Hey, man, the fuck up Monday. It's the Lock and Load show, kind of on gun channels and broadcasting for the Big Island. Wanted to talk about the mindset for shit hits the fan. We daylight saving time has messed us up. So say hello, Squib, and then I know you got to go to work.
Hello.
So if you're a regular on the show, come on in. I mailed out some links to people. Don't know who's going to show up. You never know. And my thoughts. I was thinking about the mindset for shit hits the fan and survival kind of a mindset, because basically the way I see it, the apocalypse will not be televised. The apocalypse will not be organized, and there'll be a lot of mindsets that probably won't work and will get you killed. I don't think that there will be there's either going to be without the rule of law if the shit hits the fan, or there will be military martial law, which is excessive rule of law. In either case, as a civilian, unless you're in the military, if you're in the military active duty, then there'll be a chain of command and there'll be some kind of organization. But for regular civilians and regular people, if the shit hits the fan, it won't be organized. There won't be any rules. I mean, except the penalty for screwing up is death. So it's the whole mindset. If you were, what I was trying to get at, if you were active duty, if you're a civilian, if you're in the military, you can call for backup. You can call for extraction, a medevac, an airstrike, artillery support. But if you're a civilian, you ain't got none of that. The only person coming to extract you is death himself. And I think your whole mission, your mindset, has got to be basically you're going to be fighting death the whole time. And that's ought to be your only objective, is to stay alive, survival. And all you're going to have is your wits and whatever small amount of preps you've managed to gather. And if given the fact that there's no rules, I think that you pretty much have to throw the rule book and all the procedures that you've learned away on how to live your life, or even if you're a civilian that used to be ex-military, it's not gonna. A lot of some skills will transfer, and some tactics will transfer, and some won't. And so it's going to be hard to sort all that out. It's just prepping is kind of like such a multidimensional exercise in mental mindset, and it's not just about collecting stuff. It's about determination. It's about your will to survive, and it's also about it really is about the fact there are going to be no rules at all, and it won't be, civilization won't be civilized if the shit hits the fan at all. And so that doesn't mean everybody's going to be turned into a marauder overnight, but hunger has strange effects on people. And it depends on what goes bad, what goes wrong all at once, because there's all kinds of things that can go wrong, and usually it will be more than one. But I think the first thing that you have to get straight is that everything that you've learned, the way things are done, won't work. Right? So it's something, I think it's more preparing your mind. And as far as all your physical preps and stuff like that, and where if you've geographically relocated to the right spot, or like me, I'm still trying to find a better place than where I'm at. I like being on an island. I mean, some people say, well, being stranded on a tropical island is terrible, but it depends where you are and what your skills are, and it could be an advantage if you're in the right spot. So me, I'm still looking to relocate my specific residence here on the Big Island, but to another spot on the Big Island. But whatever everybody's working on, I'm always working on something on my preps. The latest big thing I got was my water countertop distillation device. I'm like really thrilled about that. New trigger for my Tavor is nice. I'm going to be visiting California soon. I'm trying to get my parents to move out of there. We were talking in the pre-chat about, well, first the California's going to have like apparently a 50%, they have a bill to increase ammo tax, but it's going to be like a 50% ammo tax. And I'm sure they'll call it the Makes Children Safe Act or something stupid like that. But it's basically just a 50% tax on ammo because ammo is bad or something like that. Now, personally, I think ammo is good, but that's why I keep buying so much of it. The problem, like the guy that's going to win the governorship, I don't know if anybody was watching Fox Business Channel this morning, guy they're having an election for a new governor because I think Jerry Brown is term limited, and the Democrat that's running and is probably going to win because it's a Democratic kind of a state, he wants to have a single payer healthcare system, and that is estimated to cost the state of California $410 billion a year to implement that system that he wants to implement. And currently, the California state budget is $138 billion. So on top of what they're paying, they're going to need to come up with another $410 billion somehow, and that means taxing the crap out of the poor citizens that haven't evacuated California yet. And so, yeah, I'm going to be escorting my folks to Arizona, and hopefully they'll like it there, and we'll move out of that state before the next even more liberal governor than Jerry Brown takes over and plunges that state into complete chaos. So, Squib was saying earlier on the pre-chat that it would be nice if the federal government went in and just arrested the state government. And I did point out that would start a civil war if the federal troops marched in. Besides, I think the courts are perfectly capable of when it gets to the Supreme Court, the Ninth will support the Democrats, and the Supreme Court will probably have something slightly more rational than the Ninth, whatever the Ninth Circuit comes up with. Anyway, I'm going to check the externals really quick, see if anybody's out there yet. I did send out links to Jared. I don't think I sent one to Oily yet. She hasn't been coming in. Not sure what's up with her. I hope she's okay. Oklahoma Prepper sent you out a link. Dusty sent him out a link. Let's see if I could find the external chat. Okay, Jesse James, Biker Bob. The Gun Channels has not been up lately. So it's like when I say I'm broadcasting gun channels, I'm really not, because I mean, there is no gun channels right now. I mean, there's basically one web page that's kind of like people can post things, but I can't really post a video on there because I can't take down any of my old videos, even though it's just links that I can't get rid of them, and I'm limited at like the 20 videos that I posted like 3 years ago. So it's like gun channels is almost non-functional technically, and some other problems I guess people were having. here's something that kind of has been pissing me off about gun channels lately. There's just too many fakers who are just on there at like whores trying to sell tactical crap. I mean, like Tac Daddy. Apparently, if you're going to be on gun channels, I mean, you should at least be pro Second Amendment, okay? And but literally, it's like you have this parade of whores with YouTube channels trying to leech subscribers from bigger channels who are trying to sell tactical crap on the internet and get paid for it. Now, making money is the American way. I don't have any problem with that. But if you're going gun channels, you at least ought to be Second Amendment. And lately, it seems like all the people that aren't Second Amendment, like their true colors have been flying. Especially, I mean, including our president, to be honest with you. After this, so the problem isn't just with gun channels. The problem is more like with America. We need more real Second Amendment people out there, I think, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not sure. I know there's some other people that were doing similar stuff. I think that now that YouTube is kind of failing, and the good news today is that leading the market crash down were our favorites. Facebook, Google got hammered, and Facebook got hammered. I think Eric Snowden came out with some crap about Facebook. I think it was something like he had some memes or something that was basically in the 1970s. If there was a company that surveilled the public, there was a surveillance company that spied on everyone in America, that would be a bad thing. But nowadays, if there's a company in America that spies on everybody and sells all their information to the worst possible people, well, then you want to ask it how to make pancakes, because that's called Facebook or Siri or something. And it's basically an intelligence gathering organization. Somebody doesn't want me to attack Tac Daddy. Well, I mean, I'm allergic to whores. Okay, so that's my problem with Tac Daddy. I'm allergic to whores. I think I used to subscribe to him, but I mean, he was always trying to sell some cheap tactical crap, and I was just not interested. And now apparently he's really not supporting the Second Amendment at all. So I think he left gun channels all on his own. So it doesn't matter what I think, because I'm just a little small fry. You know, what does my opinion count for anything? So Squib had to go to work because daylight savings again really screwed us up. Because Hawaii time doesn't either spring forward or fall backwards. We're just like Hawaiian Standard Time. ASL. I'm not sure what that means. Zerus, CRUS. Yeah. But anyway, so right now it's not gun channels is kind of like slightly dysfunctional or not functioning. I hope, because I liked at least having the text chats up on that. So now if I want text chat, I have to go to the evil Google site called YouTube. And anyway, so I hope people liked my little trigger happy video. I had basically it was just a mosh together of some old range video and the Siberian Meat Grinder Band music. And at some of it was at 2x speed and some of it was at half speed, and it kind of came out okay, I think, with 1 or 2 filters on it. So as far as like prepping goes, it's whatever you're working on, whatever preps you're working on, and there's like so many different aspects of stuff that you could work on. I think the most important thing is going to be your mindset. It's like, I don't know if it's like the best laid plans just aren't gonna, basically what it is. I think somebody famous once said that your best plan for combat, your best battle plan won't survive first contact with the enemy. I'm not sure which general said that, but it's got to be an old saying. And I think that's pretty much true with prepping too. The first, whatever goes wrong, the chances are you sit down and ask yourself, am I prepared? And if you answer yes, I am, then it just proves that you're not. Because it's so hard to say exactly what's going to all go wrong at once. So when you look at your preps, you can say, okay, I already have 10,000 rounds of rifle ammo and 5,000 rounds of pistol ammo. And so that's probably enough, because if I have to do that much shooting, somebody's going to be shooting back at me. And somebody shoots 10,000 rounds at me, I'm probably going to be dead. So I think it helps to be multi-dimensional as far as, and to just think of what your survival plan, a practical, workable survival plan to not get killed is. Like not exposing yourself to dangerous areas, whether you're just going to be a gray man or whether you're just going to bug out into the woods and not come out. And if you can do that, if you're in an urban area, then it's going to be a little crazier, I think. If the grid goes down, there's no power. It's like if the country gets thrown back into like the Stone Age because the grid goes down, I just don't think that people are prepared to live without those conveniences that we take for granted, like just-in-time delivery of food to the grocery markets and stuff like that, things that don't work without computer and electricity. And that's a big one. But it's the things that back in the Stone Age, people looked at how we live now and it would look magical to them, because they don't until you understand how everything works, which most people don't understand how anything works, even that live in the modern age. They're just used to all the conveniences and oblivious to the realities of like the edge of a razor that we're walking on, or a tightrope. If you fall off the tightrope, it's a long way down to not having everything that you're used to at your fingertips, like we live today. And so I'm constantly reevaluating my preps, and it's like one of the reasons I'm trying to get a better place to live up a little more up country. I mean, yeah, you can say I'm already living on an island, like the farthest island from any physical continental landmass on the planet. But still, it really depends what goes wrong. If the government either goes insane and there's martial law, or the government collapses and there's no rule of law, I mean, either way, there's different ways of handling it. And, I have different plans that are arguably all of them insane solutions to insane problems that other people are going to create, or just nature by itself will create. So the bottom line is, it's like, I'm not a billionaire and I can't like build some impregnable underground bunker with air filtration and underground greenhouses and shit like that. So it's basically, you're going to have to be finding solutions to absolutely unthinkable problems. And guns and ammo are like the fun part of prepping, I think. But there's just so much more to learn and get work on, especially for like a city boy like me, who's been out in the country. Oh, you want me to talk about Mountain House? Well, the good thing about Mountain House is you don't have to go out with a rifle and kill something. You just need to be able to boil water. A solar kill shot. Planning for a solar kill shot? Yeah, there was interesting. I'm going to screen share this since we're on it. Electromagnetic pulse protection. I'm gonna actually first I'm gonna see if it'll let me put the link in so you guys in the external on YouTube there can read it. Copy, paste. No, it's not gonna let me paste. It's my channel. I've got the little king thing on, and it's let me hit refresh. Maybe it's just not letting me type anything. One, two, three. Here it is. Okay, future science. So now I'm going to screen share what I just posted in the external chat. And is it my imagination or did Jared make it in?
Yep, I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, hey, thanks for showing up, man. I know the state you live in begins with an M, but I keep butchering, getting it wrong. So Massachusetts, right?
Massachusetts.
Okay. How's life below zero over there?
I went to the range with my brand new Set-Me. Apparently, I'm so stupid I never realized the Set-Me was still a gun I could buy. So a shop got a bunch of Set-Me's in. I picked one up, and I shot at the range.
I'm supposed to know what a Set-Me is?
It's like the G3. You know what the G3 is? Was it HK?
Oh, it's an H&K pistol?
Seriously, dude, you don't know what a Set-Me is?
It sounds like a star in a different galaxy.
It's a Spanish battle rifle. Yeah, it's like a G3 or an FAL.
It's a Spanish.
Well, if it's an FAL, why didn't you just say FAL? I know what an FAL is.
Because the Set-Me, it's slightly different. Set-Me is an acronym. It stands for something.
Centuridad or whatever.
Yeah, it means the Spanish Military Engineering Division or something like that. Now I'm going to go back to grinding now.
Okay, something evil located. I'm trying to figure out what Set-Me could stand for. Something evil this way comes, or something like that.
Well, I used to have the original design had like some sort of an aluminum bullet, some sort of a crazy ass jacketed bullet. And they have a couple of captured Kraut scientists. And they had some of the Spanish scientists or whatever were coming up, mechanical engineers or whatever they were coming up with a new battle rifle. And they ended up using the same plans for the G3.
So you went to the range of this thing and you froze your ass off, is what you're saying.
It was a beautiful thing. I had the range Nazi go nuts on me too. You're going to shoot over the berm. This guy is so freaked out. He argued with me like 3 years ago. He broke my balls and called me an asshole because he was worried I was going to shoot over the berm. And then there he is again today. 2 days ago.
I remember you. I yelled at you 3 years ago, so I'm going to yell at you now again.
We're going to shoot over the berm. It's like something out of Three Stooges. Don't shoot over the berm.
Okay. Someone did ask me in the external YouTube about getting prepared for an electromagnetic pulse attack or severe solar storm. And I have talked in past chats about the magnetic field of the Earth weakening, and therefore, and also the Earth is moving. The solar system is moving out of a big magnetic dust cloud, which has been shielding the planet from cosmic rays. So, yeah, you're more likely to need suntan lotion, and the whole planet is losing its electromagnetic protection from cosmic rays and solar wind and coronal mass expulsions. I think there was an episode of Star Trek where the Federation wanted to destroy a Dominion shipyards where they build Jem'Hadar ships, and they sent in a Klingon bird of prey to the Modoc the star near the Modoc shipyards to induce a coronal mass expulsion with the trajectory aimed right at the shipyards. And so the thing about all the mass expulsions in our solar coronal hole winds and all that stuff is it has to have the right trajectory to hit Earth. Because if it just goes off into space and doesn't hit anything, then nobody cares. It won't affect any person but living on Earth. But if one of these things has the wrong trajectory and it's aimed right at the planet and with a weakening magnetic field, then yeah, then everything just turns off permanently and we get to live without all the conveniences that we're used to, like food, internet, communications. And unless the only way to talk to somebody will be if you're standing right next to them. So, yeah, so sorry I didn't know what a SETI is. I guess I'm guilty of some kind of, that's like a firearms offense, a misdemeanor, not knowing what that is.
No, you're all right. Yeah, it's not a bad, it's a Century Arms rifle. And, it's all right.
I got my Wasser from them, Romanian Wasser from them, and
I turned a couple of those down. I was gonna buy a couple, and the rivets were all screwed up. Everything was all jacked up. And
wait. Do you have a set-me rifle or do you have a C308?
Oh no, I have a C308. I have the terrible.
Okay, it's a sort of set-me then.
Yeah, it's kind of.
When I was talking set-me, I'm talking about the real set-me. The Century Arms one is mostly set-me style, but set-me is an actual acronym for it's a post World War II Spanish battle rifle. Yeah, it's
some of the parts. Set-me, what do you call it? A couple of the parts in there are surplus set-me parts. The receiver obviously isn't, but the barrel probably isn't.
And some of that stuff is interchangeable or can be modified so it's interchangeable. I'm not 100% on all of the facts regarding the G3, the set-me, and the FAL, but they're so much similar they get mistaken for each other.
How much did this set-me set you back?
$775, and it came with 10 surplus mags, which was fucking awesome. If it didn't come with those, I wouldn't have bought it. I mean, now I realize though how cheap they are, but I don't know. I mean, I'm going to do some modifications to it. I'm going to put the flappy paddle mag release on there because without the, you know, in MP5s, how they have that, like in movies, you see them have that little flappy paddle mag release. When they built this one, they didn't feel like fooling with that because you can't have the sear pin. Otherwise, that's one of the parts you need to make it a full auto. So without that, you don't have the flappy paddle cool guy release. So, and I shoot lefty, so I want to have that release. I guess righties too. It would suck too if you're shooting right, but I don't know. It's pretty interesting. I'm gonna modify it already.
You didn't take any range videos, or more importantly, you didn't take any video of this range Nazi, did you?
No, I filmed. I took one photo, but that dude was breathing down my neck almost the whole time. I don't even know why he was there, and he was casting bullets for his Enfield. Outside in like 20-degree weather. I'm not sure why you would do that in 20-degree weather and not like in your garage or something at your house, but.
Well.
He was like, so I also forgot my tripod, so he was watching me like a hawk the whole time. So. You know, around guys like he doesn't even really look like an old timer, but around guys like that, I don't really film. I don't need him coming over and fucking breaking my. I don't even know if he might be one of the higher up people in the club, so I don't even know.
Okay, well, yeah, so you didn't take any range video shooting your new rifle? Is what I'm
Negative.
Okay. Oh well, are you going to show us some video of it?
Oh, yeah, I will be taking some footage. I want to do a little video thing on it, but
because I've never seen one, so I guess I'll be interested in
just,
watching.
Are you screen sharing right now?
Yeah. Let me. I was looking at my.
If you're when you're done with that, just go to Google and type in "SETME" or C3 Century Arms C308, and I'm sure a couple photos will come right up.
Okay. Well, what I was screen sharing was the Clark's third law, which is any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Okay. Now let me get back to this thing here called Google Hangouts. Okay, so that link is in the external. I'll put it in the internal too, but I'm sure nobody's going to look at it in here right now. You can't screen share. You can't turn on your camera and show us your rifle, your SETME rifle, can you? Or are you driving?
Fiance is asleep. It's a no-go.
Oh, okay. So, but you won't know if she's sleeping.
Yeah, she's the lightest sleeper. She's like a light sleeper like my mom is.
So if you turn on the camera, she'll know and wake up.
No, the gun's locked up in my safe.
Oh, okay. I see. I got you. Yeah, that'll make some noise pulling out a gun out of the gun safe.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. Although I do have my AR. I'm doing a lightweight Faxon build, and I have that out. But I was going to go to my dad's house, but I hurt my back, so I didn't do anything.
Oh, how'd you hurt your back?
My kid was throwing a fit, and I went to pick him up and put him in his room. And just as I was picking him up, I hurt my back. And then I hurt my back again later, turning around. So I got to take it easy.
Oh, by the way, I was distressed to learn the other night that nobody told me in December, G. Webb's lost his dog. He had to put him down, I guess, for some medical reason. Oro, his Doberman Pinscher, four-legged friend. And I know how losing when you're four-legged friends like that, it's tough to deal with. But I got used to I just thinking that Oro was around, so I didn't know that he passed in January or in December. All right. And if you got pets, I guess you got to prep for your pets too.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Patrick. Oh, you know what, Patrick? I know you gave me your email, and I forgot to put you in the list of. Let me see if I could find you in my list of, so I could send you a link, because I know you sent me your email. Specifically, I was supposed to add it on to the link when I email out the links, but I forgot to put that one in. Let me see if I could make it work. Okay, I know more than one Patrick, unfortunately. That was from studio in Burbank. Let's see if I could find the thing. Here it is. Press some copy and paste buttons. All right, Patrick. There's an email coming your way that's entitled subject link. Hopefully you'll get it. So yeah, we had some problems today because apparently there's this thing called daylight savings time, and you guys all spring back or fall back or spring forward. And although I start at the exact same time, you guys are different, and your work schedules are so. I may have to start an hour earlier on Hawaii time, which will be basically. Did you guys just spring forward or fall back?
Spring forward.
Oh, okay.
That was pretty sweet.
So this is a screw for an injection molding machine. The plastic pellets drop down into a hopper and land in here, and each one of these threads is called a flight, and as it spins, the plastic pellets get closer and closer to the mold, and it starts to melt them. And they could be at about 500 degrees coming down this tube. When it first comes in from the hopper, it's only about 120. That's why this is a lot cleaner. This is from melted plastic. and it comes through, and then it goes underneath here and through and injects out this nozzle and goes into a mold in the shape of whatever it's whatever kind of parts.
Do you have to wear a breathing mask to prevent any chemicals of being that are bad for you being breathed in?
Nothing like that. But it's rare to pull a screw. It's rare that you have to pull a screw out of the machine. We're having a problem with some of the parts. So when you pull it out, there's so much plastic gummed up in here, you actually take pliers and you spin it. It's 500 degrees. It's nice and hot. So you have somebody wearing heavy welding type gloves, spin it while you grab onto the plastic with pliers and peel it off. And even then you still get it. So then you take a brass scraper and you scrape it off. Then when you're done with that, wire wheel. So that's why I can't really talk during the show, is because this thing is making a lot of noise, and I wear these gloves because the vibration is so bad. So it's kind of hard to push the button on the phone with that. So
yeah, that's okay. Yeah,
there's your plastic injection molding lesson for the day.
How many hours do you get out of that?
They actually have the screw tip is what it could crack and we replace, and they have an estimated number of shots that they can get out of this, and we've exceeded that with some of these screws. So what they've considered doing is, when the machine gets near that counter number, buying a replacement and then seeing how far over we can run it, and then if it breaks down, we can just take it out. I mean, you still have to do all this stuff. I mean, this takes a whole day to take this thing out and clean it, and about another day to get it back into the machine. But they do keep some of these spare heads, but they gave me a count on one of them because we had one crack, and it was somewhat past its lifespan. But I can't remember what that number is. I mean, it's thousands and thousands of shots that you get. And the bigger the machine, as far as tonnage, the pressure, like this come out of a 390-ton machine. And I can lift this up, but it's really heavy. You know, once you get 500-ton and bigger, the screw is obviously going to be bigger, and you're not going to be able to have one guy pick it up.
And so what kind of plastic core parts do you make with this?
The part that they were making with this before we pulled it out, the part that was having some issues, and they thought it might have had something to do with something on the screw, was an emblem for a Ford pickup truck grill.
Those are plastic now, not chrome? Okay.
They chrome plate them next door.
Ah, I see.
Yep. They'll put the plastic in an etching compound, which will roughen the surface, and then they'll put the chrome on there, or the chrome and the nickel, and I don't know. I've only been over there a few times. I don't understand how it works. Now, that's where you would have to wear all the breathing stuff, because that stuff is pretty hazardous.
Okay.
So right. I'm going to go back to grinding now.
All right. Thanks for that plastiform session there. Yeah. All right. Let me check out the external. I don't know. I think that's, well, no, he's in Michigan making parts there. I don't know if the machinery is from, I know that it's an American auto parts manufacturing company in Michigan, but I don't know if the,
this screw came out of a FANUC IMM, injection molding machine. I don't know where FANUC is made. We've got 2 FANUC machines, and then the rest are Toshiba's, which is, it's a Japanese company, but they're made in India.
Okay. Hope that answers your question, Local 223. I did put that link to futurescience.com with electromagnetic pulse, and somebody was talking about it. I've heard of Carrington events, so but I don't have that knowledge at the forefront of my occipital lobe at the moment, so I'd have to rely on Google to figure it out. So maybe I'll look it up after the show. But I think that link is pretty useful there as far as how to set up Faraday cages and all in that particular link that I posted in the YouTube external the futurescience.com link. Hope that helps people out. All right, so I think that one of the topics that I was trying to talk about was what skills would transfer from, like, for veterans from military service to shit hits the fan situation. Because I would think that some of them wouldn't. It seems to me that if you're in the military, you're trained to use what you got, and you can call for all those things that I mentioned earlier that you won't have at your disposal at all as a civilian, like backup, extraction, medevacs, artillery support, all those things that are pretty important if you're in the military that they rely on. And so it kind of would completely, or even communications, geolocation, global satellite positioning and targeting of weapons. You know, one thing that it was interesting that Oliver North was talking about on the Sunday news shows was, which kind of occurred to me. You know how recently they want you to, the FAA wants you to register everybody that buys a drone to register it. And Colonel North was talking about this threat from swarming drones. And basically the concept is even a small terrorist organization can control several hundred drones remotely that would be, or that are either programmed or remotely controlled, that are almost impossible to jam because they could be on any frequency. And each small drone could have a small explosive on it. And the thing is, like, one wouldn't pose a threat, but like 100 of them could target anybody. And it's very hard to defend against swarming drones. And that's one reason that the FAA obviously, it wasn't for just safety at airports and people idiots flying drones into airports. But that was good enough of an excuse for them to regulate what they're really worried about, which are swarming drone attacks. And which it seemed to me like, wow, could that be used as a weapon by preppers and the shit hits the fan for, like, self-defense or something? I don't know how to set up an explosive on a drone, so, but it is something that the government is apparently worried about. So, swarming drones. Now, if they can make self-replicating swarming drones, then that would be even more astounding.
I only thought they were regulating drones that went to a certain altitude.
I don't know. I'm not really into. Cork was the drone guy on Gun Channels. He was like the expert. So I'm not sure what they regulated, or I think it's like, I know that people got in trouble in the national park here at the Volcanoes National Park for flying drones, and basically the park ranger tased somebody for flying a drone too low, and it was a big thing, like, because he wouldn't stop flying.
Tased somebody?
Yeah, it was a big. Basically, he was arrested. The guy was basically, there's the Volcano Jaeger Observatory Science Center / museum that overlooks the Halemaumau Kilauea caldera, and one of the people in the group was flying a drone, like, and buzzing everybody in the crowd. Like flying a drone 1 foot over their head, and he wouldn't stop. And so the park ranger ordered him to put down the control for the drone and stop flying the drone, and he wouldn't. So she tased him. So that created at least a lot of hubbub in the press, obviously. And
you could have shot it down with a pistol.
Well, but that wouldn't be as fun as tasing the guy, making him suffer. That would just be shooting his drone.
It's target practice. Boom. Now you're never gonna fly.
Well, anyway, but so they passed some laws, I mean, against flying drones in the park and stuff like that. But oh, you need an FAA license now to buy a drone? Well,
They sell them at Cabela's.
I know two people that passed the test, and one guy knows nothing about drones. He just wanted to do it for fun.
Well, what's the difference between that and a radio-controlled helicopter airplane? I mean, they got jets that are
I suppose
radio-controlled jet.
one requires a license and the other doesn't.
But you still use a handheld remote to control it, or it does it autonomously, or on a pre-programmed course, I guess.
Look, do you expect government regulations to actually make sense?
Oh.
But the threat was of drones with explosives on them that could be detonated. And
yeah, but they can put a TV camera in a remote-controlled helicopter airplane and do the same thing. You know.
Yeah, I suppose. I wanted to answer ZRS's question on the YouTube side there. He says, I think prepping is a mindset. You can be in the military and still be screwed if the shit hits the fan. Yeah, what I was trying to get at is going into a shit hits the fan scenario as a civilian with the military mindset and doing everything just like you did in the military. I mean, it probably will fail. It's doomed to failure because you don't have, as a civilian, you don't have access to all the same resources that the military has. So, to the chief of one of being unlimited backup if you need it. I mean, at least unlimited compared to a civilian. But it's just that. So if you're like just a regular person, and you're a prepper, and you used to be military, you just have to just hit a reset button on your brain and just start from zero. And don't assume whatever you did in the military can be transferred to trying to survive as a civilian. I just think a lot of things won't transfer because of that. I mean, some things will, but I think you're going to have to reevaluate everything you do before you do it, one step at a time. That's what I was trying to get across. I don't know if I failed at it or what, but obviously there's skills that will transfer very well. It's just that it's like when you want to think twice before you do anything. If you're just doing stuff out of muscle memory, you want to use your brain, because really all you are going to have is your wits and a very small amount of preps. And if you're lucky, you'll have a few friends, which I think is like the best prep you can have is friends that are of a semi-similar mindset as you. It's like almost like the best prep you can have, really. But anyway, yeah, as far as drones, I'm really not into them. I haven't gotten into them yet, but it's interesting that they can be what the government afraid of is swarms of drones targeted at government officials. That's what they're afraid of. So, because one drone could be defeated, like 100 drones swarming. It's like a swarm attack is like something different. So that's what they're afraid of.
And what's going to stop them from getting drones from China anyways and doing it anyways?
I don't know, but that's their fear. Yes, it's very difficult to regulate, but it's the explosive part of it that drones with explosives attached to them that's the concerning part. Like the president of the United States is going down a road and he's swarmed by 100 drones with explosives on him. I mean, how do you stop that? A bulletproof window might not be enough.
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. Right.
Stupid joke.
G.I. Joe.
I never got into that as a kid, or I haven't seen any of the G.I. Joe movies. I don't know. Are they any good?
No, they're bad.
They're bad. Okay, then I guess I'm glad I didn't see them. I've been wanting to see the 7 seconds the 7 seconds, 7 days at Entebbe about the Operation Thunderbolt, where they rescued the hostages in the 70s, and in Uganda. But it hasn't been playing in any of the theaters in Hawaii. I'm guessing that they just didn't do a full marketing, so it's not in every theater. It's not in any of the local ones here in Hawaii. But I really wanted to see that one. I guess there's going to be a lot of Uzis in that one. That was the raid where Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's brother was killed leading that raid. His older brother was killed in that raid. And they rescued all the hostages. So it was a big success. Yeah, it was a big deal back then in the 70s for anybody that isn't old enough to remember. But so that movie is supposed to be out there. There have been I think 3 or 4 other movies about it, but this was the latest one. But it wasn't in any of the local theaters so far. So, oh well, I know it opened on Friday, so just not playing here. Hope I get to see it one of these days. Basically, all the guys come out of this. Basically, they fly C-130s under the radar all the way from Israel to Uganda and land in the airport, and they come out in a black Mercedes-Benz, because that's what all the Ugandan government officials always are going to and from the airport in. So give them the element of surprise because it looks like the terrorists think the government's coming, and they just basically jump out of the car and start blasting with Uzis, pretty much. They get as close as they can, and then there's a shootout. And they blow up all the MiGs at the airport, fight off some of the Ugandan army at the gate, and then fly out. So I'm sure it was a lot more complicated planning than all that, but I think the main trick was to was flying the C-130s 4,000 kilometers without being detected by radar.
Yeah, it'd be a tough thing to do.
Just Dano says FANUC is Japanese. Fanuc. Okay, so that he's talking about the Squibbs machine. All right. All right. So, what else is anybody? Okay, Jared's got his new SETI. Did I mispronounce it?
Yeah, search for extraterrestrial life.
Yeah, search for extraterrestrial life, Con.
Technically, it's a C308, but I guess you could call it, if you want to say set me, it's Charlie Echo Tango Mike Echo set me.
Yes, it sets you back a certain amount of money.
Yes. And the ammo sets me back even further. The first shell goes in there. It goes around and around. And whoa, it goes out there. I don't know if you know what that's from.
No.
The Three Stooges, when they do the World War II thing, and there was it? Yeah, I think it was World War II, and they get assigned to a deck gun, and they end up sinking the admiral's ship.
That's got to be a good one.
One of my favorite ones.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. I haven't seen that one.
All right, I'm looking at something now that says Fanuc on the screen.
Yeah, real quick before I go back to grinding all this plastic off. So in here would go your mold. The plastic would get injected from that nozzle tip through here. The mold would have 2 halves, and it would close up to, and squirt the plastic inside there and then harden, and that's how you make your plastic part. Here's your barrel. These are heater bands. These heat the barrel up in sections. We're talking about like 500 degrees Fahrenheit. And that screw goes in here, and there's a big plate that's attached with all these bolts. And there's the other side there. You have to forgive the camera. It's acting up. Anyhow, you have to turn the barrel sideways in order to get the screw out. Right up there is the hopper where the plastic feeds down into it. That's all. I'm going back to grinding.
All right. Thanks, Squib. I had him presenting for a little while there. Okay. Let's go see if I can make it back to the YouTube side, see if there's anybody on YouTube actually wants us to talk about, or any questions. Dano's out there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some research on drones. It'd be easier if Quark came back and we could just ask him, because he was the expert on Star Wars and drones. As I remember, that was his main two topics. He was like king of the hill on
Star Wars.
Okay. I stopped going to see the Star Wars movie, I think, after the first one that Disney did. I think that was the last one I saw.
The prequels weren't too bad, but just because it was nice to know where it came from, but they could have been better.
Yeah.
And the last one could have been way better, except Rogue One was awesome. That to me is like,
yeah, I think that was
Empire Strikes Back the best.
The last one I saw was Rogue One, I think. So I think I missed the one before Rogue One and everything after. So I think I'm going to pass on all that stuff. I'd rather just watch Turner Classic Movies anyway, or some Westerns.
Yeah, the one before Rogue One was basically the Star Wars we grew up with, all rolled into one movie. All three of them.
All right. Okay, we covered drones. Patrick, you're in Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So nothing new on that whole Austin thing, right? As far as the bombing.
No, they're still they're still scratching their heads. Hands are in the air. We don't know what's going on. Apparently, we had another one go off. I mean, I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth area, so I'm over near Austin. But the one went off last night. Didn't kill anybody. Injured a couple people. So just basically, if you have a package on your doorstep that you didn't order, don't touch it. And I would advise this for everybody in the state. Because who knows if these individuals or this individual is going to send it to other cities. But it's not coming by the U.S. mail; it's just showing up on your doorstep.
And they're just blowing up random people.
Yeah. There's no. They initially thought it was like a racial type deal because I think a couple people were Hispanic and a couple people were black. But I don't think that that's the case. I just think this is a psycho nut job who wants to hurt people, and he wants to be the new Unabomber, I guess. Who knows? Hopefully they figure out who it is, where they are, and they go get them.
Yeah, criminals usually slip up one way or another, especially the unstable psychopaths.
Well, Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, he did it for 20 years. I mean, that guy was pretty smart. And
his family turned him in the end, is what it was with him?
Oh, I couldn't tell. I can't remember. But I know he was living in a shack in the woods,
Well, that makes it difficult. That'll make it difficult.
Yeah. But hopefully they find this asshole and take care of him.
Why blow up random people? There's no rhyme or reason.
Well, it's just like, the DC sniper, they were shooting, that guy and that kid were shooting people in cars and, shooting people out of the back of their car.
I mean, and there was no rhyme or reason to that. I mean,
they're just bad people want to be bad and cause chaos and terror and, scare the public and what have you. And I mean, it's just, they're evil. And we won't know why evil does what it does because we're not evil. You know.
Yeah. Well, personally, I'll be happy if we always have the rule of law, even if a lot of the laws suck. But it's still better to have it and live with that, and then have to try and live without it. Because it will be chaos. It will be really chaos. And the other extreme is also bad. Living under martial law would be equally as bad. So when we talk about these scenarios of things that can go wrong, it's a mental exercise in preparedness and it just, you try and imagine what the situation will be, and wrap your mind around what how bad things can get. I mean, things can get really bad. It's just, and we can just hope that they don't. But in the end, eventually, bad things happen everywhere. So we've been pretty lucky in America. I mean, unless you're an American Indian, I guess. But for the most part, the modern thing called America has been relatively fortunate, except for a few terrorist attacks, like, you know, and just or sneak attacks, 9/11 or Pearl Harbor, stuff like that. For the most part, the civilian population has been spared, and that's what's so scary about like those solar EMPs and stuff like that, is that if it's not even a man-made problem, and it's just the forces of nature conspire to pull down the grid. It's not something. It's difficult to prepare for everything just failing, because chances are it won't. But I mean, in our lifetimes, but it's generally, if you go by the rule that one thing doesn't go wrong, or like I quoted from Hamlet last week, when sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. And so it probably won't just be one thing that goes wrong. There'll be a whole collection of bad things happening at the same time. Anyway, I kind of think I have probably all the ammo I'm going to need, but I'll buy some more anyway, just for the heck of it. Because I always buy more ammo.
Sweet. Can you see this?
So is that a bakelite? Oh, wait a minute. Let me get back to the page.
So this is the this is like a mock-up. The upper doesn't seem to fit in my loader, which is pretty alarming. But this upper is from Anderson, so apparently that's not alarming. But this is supposed to be my new build, and yeah, it has a. This is just a mock-up. So this is I got an Anderson rail here.
Is that a hex key thing, or?
It's a free float.
Free float.
So this is a fax and pencil barrel.
Dude, I got one of those. Kind of badass.
Yeah, this is the lightweight one. I have the gunner barrel, and I just like mocked it up, and I was like, "Holy crap! This is the lightest AR upper I've ever." And I even put a BCG in it, and it was alarmingly light. I couldn't believe how it was. Like, I swear, it's like under 2 pounds.
Oh yeah,
I did the whole rifle. The whole rifle is 2 pounds.
No, the upper.
Oh, just the upper. Okay.
Yeah, because this is a super thin pencil barrel. This is a pretty lightweight free float rail. I haven't put the sights on it yet. I got these sights on a deal. I obviously haven't put the gas block on it yet. for the mid-length setup. I haven't put it. I mean, this is just mocked up. It's not fitting too, so I might have to try to return this Anderson upper because it's crap. That doesn't fit, and the ejection port cover door doesn't close. It doesn't close or open freely, so I think they gave me a shit part. But I'm just surprised. I've been using their gunner barrel. And go ahead.
Say what I did what they did on Range TV, the Moment Storm Dude project.
Yeah.
Cav arms or cav 15 all
You're roboting.
lower.
You're roboting.
And I got the. Is this better?
Yeah.
Any better? Test.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I put the Faxon pencil barrel as well. And I got the match grade one. That thing is, they're both freaking awesome. And yeah, they are stupid lightweight. I mean, mine without a scope on it, the hole at the barrel and everything, and the handguard weighs like 5 pounds.
That's pretty light.
I think.
You're starting to robot again, though.
I was like,
yeah, it's amazingly lightweight.
It may be my connection.
It's weird because it's not a carbine length gas system, so it's very smooth when it shoots. It's almost like a rifle length gas system. But yeah, so it sucks that I'm gonna have to return this. This really ruins my day. I just found that out right now because I haven't like mocked it up on a rifle yet or anything. So yeah, this is the only legal lower I have. So like I don't have any other lowers. I just have like the stupid Massachusetts man. So
can you get those 80% lowers polymer ones delivered or not?
Yeah, you can, but it's the people are debating if they're legal or not. So it's an online
for you to put on that lower to see if that may be the. I mean, if
I have like four. I have like 4 uppers for this lower, so it's not the lower.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I don't know. I was gonna go pretty lightweight and pretty pissed off at Anderson right now. I got it from Primary Arms in a deal, so next I'm gonna be emailing Primary Arms.
Primary Arms is I've heard pretty good customer service if you got a problem.
Yeah, that's where I got my CAC upper for mine.
This Aero Precision is pretty cool. The barrel nut doesn't look that bad, but obviously it's not shimmed or anything. I just have it screwed in place. But yeah, it looks pretty good, man. I think it just blows my mind how light. Like, of course, it has a BCG in there, but I can't open the friggin' thing right now because it's together. But it's just it is pretty crazy how light this is. So that has a rifle Magpul A2 thing. Yeah. I actually like it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not bad. Now, I can't have collapsible stocks. I can have them if you pin them, but I'm not pinning a stock. I'd rather just get something like that. I picked this up for like $25 off of Gun Parts Corp. So I'd rather have something that's more permanent if I can't adjust it.
So how many long guns do you own?
Did you get their
You're roboting again.
I didn't hear what you asked. I don't know, a bunch.
Okay, I have 4 long guns, so.
Yeah, I got a bunch. I got a couple hunting rifles. I got a couple 22s. I only have 1 AR, but I have several uppers for the AR. I'm not going into anything crazy because obviously if I break this upper, this lower, I'm fucked. So obviously nothing magic's, it's just really 5.56 and that's it. I'm not playing around with 8 or 9 mil. I wanted to, but I'm not gonna because I can't break this lower. And yes, I can show the serial number.
Did you get their small muzzle brake that you don't have to remove the muzzle brake to put the gas block on and off?
Yep. Now they didn't. They were out of stock, so I just ordered it and then I pinned and welded it myself. There's my weld right there. I just used some Krylon. No, some HVT engine paint. So I just kind of
That'll
sprayed
work.
it. But here's the gas block here. I'm just putting my camera down for 1 sec. I'll show you the gas block thing. So this is the whole reason why I like these barrels a lot, is because of this reason. I will buy more. So here is the gas block. So what's cool about this is if you live in a restrictive state, first off, this is 16 inches from the end of the barrel to this end, and it's pinned and welded, so it's totally legal, not an SBR. What's cool is this gas block goes. Uh-oh. I have to grind that weld down a little bit. It's a little too high, but all right, so Bubba didn't mess this up here. Then you can slide this gas block right over into place here. So that way you don't have to worry about fooling around with it, or especially in my state where everything's got to be pinned and welded, constantly cutting off stuff. If you have to work on the gun or something, you're going to have to cut off the muzzle brake, which is insane. So I could probably force it by, but I don't know if I want to do that. Let's take a look here. Oh, maybe, hold on. Maybe the screws are out a little bit. No, they're all in. I'm just thinking, yeah, I left too much of a bulge here with my tack weld. No big deal. I can grind that down in about a minute.
Yeah, it's gonna feel weird going to Arizona in May. It's gonna be like freedom shock.
Yeah, you're never.
You may not want to
go
leave.
back. Yeah.
Well,
And this rail is kind of cool. It's only got a the mount for the forward Picatinny rails right there. So I thought this is kind of cool. It's M-LOK all around.
well, so you have to add 4 Picatinny rails to that, and that'll add weight.
No, just right here. I'm only adding a small rail right here for my front sight post.
Oh, okay.
So now it has the availability to mount whatever the hell you want on here. You can go nuts. But obviously I got it because it's super lightweight.
See, you don't want, you're not going for like a zombie mall zombie gun or anything.
Well, I've used enough quad rails in my life. I don't need to use any more. I don't like them. Especially my one station unit in training, they made us use quad rails and we didn't have any covers for the quad rails. So that was extremely annoying. It's not hard. I mean, you just learn to do it, but your hands fall asleep a lot.
Yeah, I was about to say that's gonna burn some skin off, with the cheese grater effect.
Oh yeah, especially when you're shooting burst on like a range. You're friggin' like, here, go ahead and grab the rifle. Like, it's burning hot. Like, you didn't bring gloves because you wear. You don't just. It's not like civilians. You don't just put gloves. I mean, if you're in training like that, you're not just gonna pull your gloves out and put them on.
But they don't let you wear gloves, and they make you hold the barrel while it's.
We'll hold the quad rail in like 125 degrees with a heat cat, shooting rapid fire. Yeah, but I mean, it's just heavy. Like, it isn't. I don't need. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not bashing on the people who have quad rails. If you have a quad rail, you run it, you like it, go for it. But I'm not a fan, and I could get something like this where if I want to add something on any of these angles, I can add whatever I want. If I don't want to add anything, I get the lightweight. This is Aero Precision.
I've heard of that brand.
I still got to order my handguard. I'm still borrowing one on another rifle, so you get one of the GunTech handguards, handrails. That's really lightweight and put on there. Just haven't done it yet.
Yeah. The barrel nut doesn't look that bad either. It comes with some shims so you can shim it. Because you got to make sure the gas block slides through. Doesn't look like it'll be that bad, but I guess I'm not building it now because of this friggin'. I knew something was wrong because this didn't fit right. This Strike Industries ejection port cover. I was like, this isn't right at all. Something was good. And now this. If I pull it out, it only pops open a little bit. It doesn't come all the way open here. But you look at the hole. That I don't know if this hole. I'm pretty sure this has to be center. If you look at it, that is not center. Now the problem is this one appears to be on. So I can go ahead and bubble my way and drill a little and make the hole bigger, but clearly something's wrong with this receiver. So upper receiver. I don't know. What does everybody think? Should I go bubble on it, or should I contact primary arms and get one that's not jacked up?
I just swap it out for one that's not jacked up, but I don't build AR, so I might not be the right person to ask.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if I go loosening this tolerance up here and that pin doesn't fit very well. Yeah, I mean, it's not like a tightest fit, but if it's a real loose fit pin, it doesn't really sound that smart to me. Like you only have 2 points that hold the upper to the lower, and now one of those points is going to be loosey-goosey. That doesn't sound very smart to me. So.
Yeah, you don't want your gun to fly apart when you do multiple pieces when you pull the trigger.
Yeah. By the way, I have a Geisley right here. It is a very nice trigger.
Yeah, it's. I installed the Geisley in my Tabor, and I haven't installed the lightning bow because I need to get a certain type of hex wrench to. You have to completely disassemble the Tabor to put in the trigger bow, the lightning bow. But the basic trigger is in, and yeah, it's a light trigger with a crisp reset. I mean, it'd probably make it easier to fire a little faster if I really wanted to, but I don't really want to. I'm more of a deliberate shooter. I like taking my time, picking a target, and hitting it. I'm not just spraying lead down range doesn't do much for me. I mean, it'd be fun to have a minigun once and just have fun with a minigun, but obviously a Tabor isn't a minigun, so.
Yeah.
Hey, Jared?
Yeah.
Hey, I've dealt with primer and stuff before, but scopes, and they were really good of me, and they did do what they were supposed to do. They didn't, I had to fill out the form online, all reasons why things weren't working, and they took care of it, and they got me my replacement within. I mean, they're good folks, so they should. If you call them, they should help or take care of you.
Cool. Thanks.
So,
how much did your Geisley trigger cost you for that AR?
I think it was like $200-something bucks. I got it when it first came out. And this one is the, I think this one was the, oh, damn it, man. I didn't mean to let it go all the way up here. This one is like the candy cane break.
Candy cane break?
Yeah.
That's what Geisley says. It he describes it as the break. It breaks like a candy cane.
Hang on.
How does a candy cane break? I mean,
like real crisp.
Yeah, it's real nice for, like, so when I run this trigger with the not this barrel, when I run it with the Faxon gunner barrel, and I have the Faxon 13-inch rail on there, it's awesome. It's really nice. I have the mid-length gas system is nice. The follow-up shots are just immediate follow-up shots. And so being somebody who went through training with an M4, I'm just surprised how smooth, how lightweight, and how quick the follow-up shots are. Really. Especially, I mean, once you shoot anything, you're going to be quick with it. But, I mean, I got the set me, and I understand using a larger bullet, but I still like the AR because, I mean, I'm an AR guy, so. Set me is fun, don't get me wrong, the 7.62 by 51. It also, where's Squib? It sets you back a little bit with money-wise, the ammunition, but, Oh, I like all guns, but I don't know. There's something about the AR. Obviously, it's what I use in the army. So
Man, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm resizing 308 shell casings.
yeah, I don't think I can reload the set me.
Oh yeah, that's
Excuse
right.
me,
It
the
beats up the brass.
C308.
I heard.
Yeah, it's got that like fluted chamber. That's what crazy.
Well, that and I also heard it beats up the brass pretty good to where it puts no dents and gouges things on the casing and all that.
Yeah, here I'll go get the brass real quick. Just give me like a minute or two.
All right. I'll leave it locked on you because I'm too lazy to switch it from stop screen sharing. Let's see, here's the part where I'm supposed to say something intelligent.
Tonight's locked and loaded.
You're roboting. What were you going to say about it?
Oh, tonight's locked and loaded. Brought to you by 7-Eleven. Where you can get all of your convenience store needs.
Well, not only do we not have a 7-Eleven in Kona, nobody's sponsoring me, unfortunately.
I know.
But if somebody wants to sponsor the show, just send me Bitcoin to the address in the video description.
Right. Sponsored by Bitcoin.
Speaking of which, I'll spend like 60 seconds talking about Bitcoin. So what's been happening lately, it went up like 15% today after being slammed down all last week because Mt. Gox's trustee has been dumping $410 million worth of Bitcoin from the Japanese. Mt. Gox was a Japanese exchange that went bankrupt. Like, what year did it go bankrupt? 2010 or so, I don't know, way back when. And so some Japanese court put a trustee in charge, and apparently somebody has bought him off, and he just was selling everything except for like he sold $410 million worth of Bitcoin on the open market, and intentionally to drive the price down. But he's not selling the last $5 million worth of Bitcoin, because if he did, then he would actually have to pay the creditors back, the people that got left out in the cold when that exchange went bankrupt. And so they're supposed to get their money back. And basically, it's like you kind of get the feeling that somebody is paying off the trustee to slam down the price of Bitcoin intentionally. So eventually, that $410 million will be released to the creditors, but it'll only happen when the court orders it. And this is a Japanese court. It's so stupid, the judge's orders. It's like, I'm sure that everybody that actually owned a piece of Mt. Gox would prefer just to have their Bitcoin and not to have it sold at all, because basically the price that the trustees are getting for every Bitcoin that they had on Mt. Gox is $410 for each Bitcoin, because that's what it was worth when Mt. Gox went bankrupt. Never mind that it hit $20,000 recently. They're only getting $410 back, and they're not getting any of that back, because if the trustee actually sold all of the Bitcoin, then they'd have to give it back, and then it would go on the market, and then all $410 million would get shoved into people's pocket, people who have a history of buying Bitcoin. So they don't want that to happen. So it's just a total, you think that the banks are, okay, I'm going to stop talking about Bitcoin because we got ammo casings.
No, you're good. Yeah, so can you see the marks on these spent cases here?
Yeah, they're pretty scratched up. Wow.
It's from the fluting in the chamber, and then it looks like you can. I think that's where the extractor maybe grabbed it, or no, the ejector.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So
that thing is tore up.
So the ejector is messing up your brass.
Well, no, I mean these marks on it are from the fluted. I believe it's the fluting in the chamber. The chamber looks all crazy.
I understand fluting a barrel, but fluting a chamber affects the rifle harmonics in a positive way. Is that the concept?
I don't know. Let me ask the Google.
Ask Google. See, that's
I
what
don't-
I was talking about earlier. As far as if what I was talking about earlier is that if there was if there was a government, if there was a company that spied on, that surveilled the entire population and sold all the information it gathered to anybody that was willing to pay its price, then that would be pretty much considered an evil thing. But now we call them Facebook and Google. And so if you want to learn how to make some pancakes or find out why your extractor is getting messed up, you ask the evil surveillance company for the answer. And they'll tell you how to make pancakes or why your rifle isn't extracted. So what does the evil surveillance company say?
Okay, well, I think someone said it to me before, but I just forgot. But they said it's to delay the action of the rifle. It's just an extra, like, added safety to delay it even more. Some people claim it aids with extraction, but according to the Google and somebody else, like I said, someone told me it before, but I forgot.
Delay the action of the rifle?
Yeah. Because it's a roller lock system, not a gas.
You lost me.
Yeah.
But I'm not familiar with the action on this rifle, so.
Explaining before, I've watched a crap ton of Forgotten Weapons videos. I should be wearing the dunce cap right now because I can't explain.
Well, it sounds to me like that's the reason maybe this weapon was forgotten. Just look at that brass.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
the weapon was originally
You're roboting.
aluminum, pretty sure. Oh boy. Let me turn my camera off. How's that?
Okay,
How's that?
better.
From what I remember from the experimental Forgotten Weapons episode, the weapon was originally designed, and it had the military had a bunch of boxes they wanted checked, and they designed this very weird looking bullet that was like an aluminum jacketed bullet, and it met everything the Spanish military wanted. You could shoot accurately, like full auto at like 100 meters or something crazy like that on a bipod. So, but then everybody was going over to 7.62 by 51 NATO, so they jumped on it too. They just kind of redesigned the rifle to run on the NATO ammo. I could be getting this totally wrong, but from what I remember, that's what it said. If I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know in the comments on YouTube there. But as far as I remember, that's what it was. And I think they had some problems initially with the rifle because it was meant to fire an aluminum bullet or an aluminum jacketed bullet that shot like unbelievably flat. Didn't have a lot of recoil. I don't know, whatever. But anyways, it's a pretty cool rifle. I don't really care. I don't reload right now. I live in an ass cracking apartment, so I got nothing for reloading. So yeah, I mean, the fact that it's destroying the brass really doesn't matter to me. I kept the brass just to inspect it, take a look at it before I, dumped it. I got rid of it. I wanted to, yeah. But it's pretty. I mean, it ain't bad. I mean, it's my first 308, so.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't sound like my cup of tea, but if you have fun with it.
The 5.56 is cheap as hell. Obviously, this is harder hitting. It's 30 caliber. I'm sure Squib's smiling. I think it has a hell of a philosophy. I threw the Chinese fake ACOG on there, the Terminus Optics one.
Dude, I've got one of those.
Yeah.
How is it?
I was a dumbass.
Dude,
I almost had it zeroed, and I didn't Loctite it.
Get one, HVS, get one. It's worth it.
Yeah.
A Chinese ACOG.
Yeah, dude, it really is worth it.
It's $80.
Oh, $80? How good can it be for $80? I mean,
well, there's
a Flater Mouse video.
Yeah, it went through 80 rounds of 3-inch Magnum rounds on a 12 gauge shotgun. It's survived so far on my AR-15.
I can put it on my shotgun. I mean, I'm perfectly happy. I don't think I'll need a sight on my shotgun. It's got an iron sight.
No, you can put it on your Tavor, man.
I'm perfectly happy with my red dot, and it's zeroed. I don't want to mess up my zero, but I'm going to have to disassemble it anyway. But
just to make sure, you Loctite your optics, right?
No, I haven't.
Well, just be ready. I've had it happen before, more than once. So, I just didn't realize there was screws underneath. On the sight.
I got a LaRue flip to side mount for my 3x magnifier, and that was necessary. But my MSC optic, I mean, it stayed zero no matter what I did to my rifle. If I drop my rifle or bounce it off the floor or do whatever, or slam it into a wall, it doesn't matter. It stayed pretty much zeroed. So and so is the laser on it.
Something else you might want to do if you get a lot of property with wooded area, and it's all your property, and you're going to be carrying your guns around, you're going to want to paracord your optic to your rifle.
Paracord?
Yeah.
What for?
If you're not Loctiting it, it might fall off. And if it falls off and you're walking through the woods, you ain't ever going to find it again.
It's screwed on pretty well, I think.
It's something the Army does. I don't know if you ever realized that. I don't know if they do that in movies. I don't think they're paracord optics.
Well, I've got paracord on my rifle, and but I've never paracorded down the optics. I've just got a little
hold on, what do we
camouflage swatch over it. That's about it.
Yeah, Loctite can be your friend. Patrick's showing some ammo right now. Is that 7.62 by 51?
Yeah, this is my ammo that I made for my 308 AR-10 that I'm gonna shoot. Hopefully, I'm gonna do it this Thursday. The following Thursday, I'm gonna go shoot long range with it.
Okay, I got it. You presenting?
No. Any better?
Yeah, it's a little blurry. The camera's not completely focused, I think. But
yeah, well, this is the Nosler RDF bullet. And
have you used the RDF before?
Yes.
What do you think of it?
Yeah, it works on long ranges. I mean, I shot only out to 200 yards. It gets a little bit better groups than the Sierra Magic King 175s. But this thing is shaped like a missile. I mean, let me see if I can get one out of the box.
Yeah, I've noticed two things about RDF so far. It's expensive and it's usually out of stock.
Not actually, it's cheaper than regular Sierra Magic King for me.
Yeah, but I'm comparing it to other nozzlers like the ballistic tip.
Actually, I found they're still cheaper at Cabela's. This is.
I am obviously shopping at the wrong place.
Well, but you are right though about out of stock. It is always out of stock.
Is that what they call a boat tail?
But
is that like a?
This is the boat tail right here.
Yeah.
Quite the little missile.
Hey, Squib, did you ever record an optic?
No, I used a PVS4 scope once. Otherwise, never used optics. I mean, we put lasers on the XM2 1850 cals on the helicopters, but they were those I don't know if it's an infrared laser or what it is. It's not visible to the naked eye, so you can only see them with NVGs. But yeah, I didn't. Man, I'm old school. We were iron sights.
Yeah,
optics are for freaking snipers and shit.
You mean you could totally see Tweedledee and Tweedledum running around with like an L-can or 145 or something? Or an
so you remember when they said to dummy cord your stuff on your cartridge belt and stuff like that? All right, so you take extra boot, you go to the PX, you buy extra bootlaces, and then you run these bootlaces through the eyelets on your cartridge belt around your canteen,
and your mag pouch,
Yeah, we
and
didn't
your
have cartridge
IFAC.
belts.
You what?
We didn't have cartridge belts. We had flicks.
What the hell is a
Load
flick?
carriers, a fighting load carrier. We
Oh
also
my
had
goodness!
taps too. We also had
All right.
taps.
All right,
Tactical
Jared.
cell panel.
I am officially over the hill.
I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. So the first time they told me to get an extra pair of bootlaces, I said, "What's wrong with the ones that are in my boots?" And it's just do it. So I get them, and they're like, "All right, now dummy cord your stuff." And they go, "Why?" Because it'll fall off when you go running. I go, no, they have clips on here. They clip into place. No, they're going to fall off. Not if you use the clips properly. Are you trying to say that you are so stupid you can't operate a clip? You know, it's just this metal thing that slides into another metal thing. There's nothing to it. So I never dummy corded my shit in any of the training or any of the crap we did overseas or any of that. And I never had anything fall off ever. So I don't know,
I mean,
but
well,
the paracording, the optics, I would say,
Tweedledee.
is along the same lines.
Well, I mean,
You're going to
you
have
don't-
somebody. I mean, like, because I didn't work with optics, I don't know. Do you put your own optics on, or does an armorer do that?
I don't have an armorer, so I put on my
No,
own
not
optics.
you. No,
I was
Jared.
I was never issued an optic. I had my own optic. I got my own. They didn't give a fuck. So everybody else got the 68s. Everybody else got the 145s. I guess the armor would put it on for you if you asked them to. I put my own optics on though.
Okay, so when you're saying Tweedledum out there, if you're talking about they didn't properly install the optic and it falls off, then that paracord, that dummy cord is going to be helpful. But I mean, if you do it right,
Yeah, you put a little Loctite. They have lesser versions like the purple Loctite.
yeah.
And that'll keep the optic on there really well without needing heat or anything to get it off. And it'll just make sure that the thing doesn't rattle apart. Obviously, if it's 5.56, it's probably not rattling apart, but still, I've been on the range and that fucking thumb screw didn't hold very well. I don't know if I'm cursing a little too much here, but that thumb screw didn't hold very well, and my optic was moving, and I didn't realize it until I was shooting like I was a Gumby.
You can curse all you want on my chat.
And there's the thing, because I have so little experience with optics in the military and as a civilian, I'm not expecting these sorts of things. So I guess I would be Tweedledee or Tweedledum because I'd be going, I just tighten it down, and not think to use, even though I know, your blue Loctite is not going to withstand a vibration. Your red Loctite, you're going to have to heat the damn thing up to get it loose. So your purple in between is probably a good choice. But yeah, I guess I would be that guy going, just tighten it down, because I'm not thinking about the vibration based on putting round sound range.
Especially when you're talking 308. That thing
Yeah.
came loose in like less than 20 bullets.
Or if you're talking about a machine gun versus a semi-auto. I mean, recoil is recoil, but that machine gun's going to shake and shake and shake. So,
yeah.
but now,
I mean, it's
what we mounted on the, actually we mounted it, I think we mounted it on the minigun as well. It's just this, it's this rectangular box that's got a little lens on it, and it's just a laser. And we just attached that with some screws and tightened it down. But because it was on a mount, or it was on the top of the receiver for the 50 cal, we never really had any issues where those shook loose. It's a little bit different than your optic on a rail on a small arm, you know.
Yeah. What's going on, Patrick? What are you looking at?
Well, this is
Green tips.
Viva la green tips.
This is the it's a big green tip. No, this is the Sierra Match King. It's like the Nosler RDF, except it has the green polymer tip on there, and this thing is just like a missile as well.
So polymer tip, that's like the Zombie Max, except this is 308, is what you're saying?
Yeah, this is a 175 grain 308 bullet to fly through the air better and less wind resistance, buck the wind better. And
I think Dano asked on the YouTube site, is that a VL boat tail?
Yes, this is a
VL.
boat tail.
Yeah, well, what does VL stand for?
I don't know what VL, but it's not hollow in the base. It is flat. Boat tailed, as you can see right there. It just concaves down, so it helps with the stabling through the air and all that. This is the RDF round. It doesn't use the ballistic tip. It's just got a really tiny end. And this is the Hornady. Grab another one. This is the Hornady 155 grain ELD tip. Yeah,
Now-
it's a heat resistant tip.
Okay, the ELD is the new one that they come out with, right? The one where they actually they were watching the bullets fly through the air with millimeter wavelength radar or something, and seeing how the tip was melting or something. I don't know. I read an article about it.
Yeah, it was melting and causing the rise, and this tip is the one that
They were getting
melt,
inaccuracies
supposedly.
with the other polymer inserts because they were deforming or melting or something. I don't know if it's from the friction in the air or going down the barrel or something like that.
That's exactly it.
So they redesigned the polymer compound to withstand that better, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How would
and
the
this
tip get hot going down? How does the tip get hot going down the barrel?
fire resistant.
I don't know. It's either
Air
that or the
resistant.
friction with the air. I barely remember reading the article. I just remember that they were using millimeter wavelength radar to actually watch it in flight. I'm going, wow, that's science. Why not teach us that
that's exactly
physics
it.
class?
It's the air over the bullet creates heat, just like it does on an airplane. You gotta understand, these things are going 2 times the speed of sound.
So it's
You know,
deforming the plastic and it's making an unusual shape and it's unstable in flight with your standard
Yeah, it's
plastic.
causing the bullet to yaw and change direction. And this, the 170 or the 75 grain 223 round with the ELD tip.
Now, I still use the AMAX and the VMAX and the ZMAX, which is just an AMAX anyhow. But I'm not shooting at ranges over 100 yards, so it's not really an issue. But at longer ranges, you're going to get more instability because it's in the air longer. It's got more, it's a wider. I don't know what's the scientific word I want to look for here.
Ballistic, something.
Something. It's just because it's going further. The further out you go, the further you miss or whatnot. I guess it is.
Well, there's a lot of different aspects of ballistic science that could lead to that happening. You're talking about the effect of the Earth's rotation on the.
No. I'm saying at 100 yards, if you're shooting 4-inch group at 100 yards, you might end up shooting 8-inch group at 200, that sort of thing. So for me, I'm combat accurate with Hornady AMAX, VMAX, and ZMAX, but the chemical formula for the plastic, the polymer tip that are in those is not as good as the ELD tip.
Correct.
Okay, so how about my American Eagle ammo, 555 grain?
Well, you ain't got a problem with that. That's going to be just fine.
Yeah, but it's not
One
this
thing is
ELD formulation, though. I've never even
No,
heard of
because
that.
there's no polymer insert in it.
I think there is on the tip. This says polymer tipped ammo.
What?
I'll pull out a box of it if you don't believe me.
No, it's just American Eagle. I thought was just your standard target ammunition.
Well,
Yeah.
they have polymer tip stuff too now.
Whoa!
I've got a box. I'll
This
show
right
it to you.
here-
It's in the other room. I'll go get it.
I don't want to see your box.
Dude,
I'll show you
This
the
right
ammo,
here?
not just the box.
focus camera. The 75 grain ELD will not fit in an AR mag.
Okay, it's not focusing on your camera. Hold it. Try closer or farther, but there it's just a blur. Blurry. That's better. There you go.
I see your avatar.
Yeah, this will not work in an AR-15 magazine because
Yeah, I don't shoot anything that heavy in a 5.56 anyhow, but you can
when you
get
see
good
the bullet
results
far
with
enough
the.
down, that's what happens. It will not fit in the mag with the 75 grain. You have to use the 73. It will not work. But he needs these for a bolt gun. They'll work in a bolt gun, just not in a magazine.
I've heard of people getting good results with the 223 with the really, really heavy bullets. But for what I do, it wouldn't work out. But if I was doing something different, then it might be a good option.
Well, they work real good. I normally run the 75 grain hollow point. That one right there.
I think I'm gonna get up and get that box of ammo.
And this little guy works real good.
Isn't it great that there's such a variety out there, and you know, we can, depending on whatever we're doing with it, long distance shooting, hunting, personal defense, plinking, whatever it is, you know, we've got a lot of choices.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go into the manual and look up a formula and crank out a batch just to make something. Just, all right, let's try these out. And the problem with that is if you're trying to get a consistent load for something, last year when I was sighting in my rifle before deer season, I was using 4 or 5 different batches of reloads. And my buddies were telling me, dude, you're not going to get consistent results as far as sighting it in with that. Pick whatever you're going to use for hunting, make a ton of that, and practice with that. Don't be mixing this up because you're going to just keep getting mixed results. And I was just experimenting with different kinds of ammo and not thinking, oh yeah, get this would be consistent. So
yeah, and that's what I did. Well, that's not what I did is I made some of the Total Match Kings, Sierra Match Kings, and to test out. And come on here. And I'm going to test those hopefully this weekend. I made about 11 of those. I'm going to test the speed. Let's see if I get the same result and the same speed as the Nosler RDF. And if I do, then hey, great. I got a formula that works great with 2 bullets, different types of bullets. But hopefully I'll get good results. We'll see.
Okay, I'm back. Is that Patrick's frozen? It looks like your ammo is frozen right there.
No, I've turned it off.
Oh, wait a minute. Looking at the wrong screen, that's why. All right, let me turn the screen share thing off. Open this box of ammo. It's AR-223 American Eagle varmint tipped.
but it,
50 grain tipped varmint 223. Let's see. Let me open this box.
Wow, that's kind of a rifle.
No, you could use 50 grain. I would say I've seen more varmint 223 and 40 grain. No.
Oh yeah.
Like the varmint grenade, I think that's a 40 grain. I mean, that's light. That's really light.
Yeah, this particular ammo. Of course, I think the Kona Guns store says this for every ammo, that he shot a pig and he could put the whole barrel of his rifle through it because it left such a big hole or something like that. And I can't remember exactly what he said. I don't want to misquote him. But
here's the thing with the bullet weight, the barrel twist rate, so it's too light of a bullet and a barrel spins it too fast and you overstabilize it. That can't happen. And that's the thing with you want to match your barrel whisper it up with the appropriate bullet weight.
Man, can't find anything around here. 1 second.
Have you guys ever used the 77 gram tracers?
No.
All right, there's my flashlight. Turn on the camera for 1 sec. Flashlight on.
Because it's grid down.
What's grid down?
You got your flashlight on because it's grid down?
No, so you could see the tip of this ammo without. Jesus.
You blinded me. I'm trying to drive here.
Well, there's the polymer tip.
Just
Garment.
a tip.
Yeah.
Huh. And a Federal American Eagle.
Yeah, I'll show you the box. That hopefully without blinding you.
It's the red and black box.
No, it's black and white here.
What?
Yeah, black and white.
It's upside
wait.
down.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking, never mind. Yeah, okay, I got you. I was thinking of when I think of American Eagle, I think of the red and black box with the eagle on it. That's
That's for pistol
your
ammo.
standard target. No, I think the American Eagle for the M1 Garand load is like that. But yeah, you're right. I've got 223 and 5.56 in boxes like that.
Yeah.
55
So
grain
is-
boat tail, 62 grain boat tail.
So this is the varmint tipped, which is polymer. So sorry if I blinded you while you're driving, but just consider it a drill for the apocalypse. I mean, that
Thanks.
way, if you're blinded by a flash of a nuclear explosion, you'll have the experience of driving without.
Yeah, I'll be thanking you later, right?
Yeah, you'll be thanking me later for the Stevie Wonder experience.
I just called.
I'm glad you guys stayed on until after I got off work.
Yeah, well, we're still live. I think there might be a couple questions in the external. Let's see. Oh, hey, it's Batjack JW from Arizona out there. I'm gonna be in land of freedom. I'm gonna be in Arizona from. I'm gonna be in Prescott from May 19th to the 24th. No, May 18th, May 17th to the 24th. I'm going to be in Prescott. So I'm going to check out the Ruger Factory. I'm going to check out Palace Saloon. I'm going to check out Dawson Knives Company is also in Prescott. And so, hey, if you're in that part, anywhere near there, stop by and give me a call. I know you still, hopefully you still have my cell phone number on your phone. And Daniel's question, let's see, with the VLD and 223, can you not seat the bullet deeper, keeping the OAL in spec?
The case overall length, or the cartridge, it'd be the cartridge overall length, the OAL.
No, not with the 75 grain, because I saw the picture. I'll put it back on here. The bullet actually is so far down where it doesn't have anything to grab on. The flat of the bullet.
So you're no longer where you can, was it the ogive part of the bullet would be there,
you're no
right?
longer on the flat. Yeah, you're no longer on the flat side of the bullet for the neck to squeeze onto. Grain ELD. Now the 73 grain, yes, you are. You have plenty. But the 75 is only for bolt action rifles, not magazine fed. They will not work. But the 73s will. Point it back. But they sure are pretty.
So have you ever bought ammunition or bullets for reloading and then found out it won't work, so then you had to go buy the rifle to match it?
No, not yet.
Oh, man, this won't work in my AR. Well, guess I got to get me a bolt action.
Well, I bought a 45 long Colt box, not looking because I was just looking for 45 ammo. So, oh, here's a good reason to buy another pistol.
Yep. I've heard of people giving somebody ammunition as a gift. Oh, I know you shoot guns, so I bought you some. And it's for a gun they do not have that in that caliber. So what do? They run out and buy that gun.
Yeah, well, there's this whole thing about I wanted to talk briefly about prepping as far as ammo being a commodity or a monetary substitute if the shit hits the fan. The problem being that if you, I mean, would you really trust somebody who just gave you ammo as money? Because you're trusting that it's not. If the shit hits the fan, I mean, if you go to a store when the grid is up, you don't have a problem. But if people are using it for barter or as an exchange, if the shit hits the fan, then you have no idea if the ammo's any good or if it's filled with dirt instead of gunpowder. And that's
okay. Look at it like this. Let's say the dust is settled, the infrastructure's still down, and it's still somewhat lawless. But at this point, the weak have died off, and in general, people are just trying to get things back together. They're obviously not online or going back to their 9-to-5 job, but they're trying to have some sort of society. And this guy down the street's a doctor, and this guy down the street, is a carpenter, and you reload. It would behoove you to make the best ammunition you can when you're bartering with them, because if you don't, and it fails them, it may cost them their life, and you may need their skills that you're bartering for. Or if you make bad ammo, they'll never buy ammo from you again. In the same sense, you could say, I give them ammo, and then they turn it on me. Well, that's why I say it would have to be in some sort of where the dust is settled and people are trying to bring back civilization situation. There still isn't a situation where you can go down to the store and get it, but it's not as unstable as the first few weeks or months of a apocalypse.
Yeah, well, I think in the long, basically, it would behoove. It's just that if you're talking about your neighbors, then you might trust them more than just some random person who says, "Here, I have some ammo. I want to sell you in a baggie," and you aren't going to risk your life on it. But it might be what things that would still be worth money as a commodity might be just the components like brass or primers would still be worth something.
If you could reload, you could take that baggie of ammo and try to fire some of it. And if you had a situation where you had a hang fire or something, you could dismantle it and reuse the components if you had other components and tools to reload your own ammo. But I would think that if you had the capability to reload, that you'd already be stocked up on components. But it would be a commodity. It would be something that would have some value.
Yeah, back in the West, the reason they called shot glasses is because you could trade a round of ammo for a shot of whiskey. But I guess if you're talking shit hits the fan, then you don't want to risk your life on some ammo that you can't be sure of.
I'm thinking the same kind of guy who doesn't have a decent stockpile of ammo and some other stuff like good gun cleaning supplies as far as equipment or oil or patches or things like that. Somebody who doesn't have that. I mean, most people probably don't keep spare parts. I do, but at least spare mags if it's got a detachable mag or something like that. If you're not that person, then there's probably a whole lot of other things you haven't prepared for either. So I would think somebody who's got first aid equipment at home and a stockpile of food and water, and like your distiller or solar panels or a chicken coop or any of the other things we talk about when we talk about prepping, they would probably have a decent stockpile of ammo.
Yeah, I guess most of the America aren't preppers though, unfortunately.
Yeah, the person who has the one handgun they keep by the bed at night, and they could say they're a gun owner, but they're not a Second Amendment guy, probably has that box of shells that they bought when they bought the gun and may not have ever even fired it. And if there was some sort of situation where the grid went down and there was civil unrest, that handgun's going to defend their house for, what, an hour? Less?
Well, that was when I met somebody in the condominium complex who had a whole family who was against him prepping at all. And I asked him, he wanted to like join it because he thought Hawaii Volcano Squad was like some paramilitary organization. I said, no, it's just the name of a YouTube channel. And so I asked him, well, he said, I own a gun. I said, what kind of gun do you own? He didn't even know. So like, you know,
do you think he even had the right ammo?
I don't know, but if you don't even know what kind of the name of your only gun, then it's like you can't join my prepper group. You know,
he probably had 12 gauge rounds for a 357 Magnum.
I don't know what it was.
Oh no, well no, he had a 357 Magnum and bought 357 SIG ammo.
Yeah.
Well, I bought this 9mm, but I know it can shoot. I know it shoots better than anybody else's because I bought this 10mm ammo for it because it's more powerful
and it's bigger. 1 millimeter bigger.
So, like, if 9mm is good, this 10mm is better. So I'll just
like
put it in my
Spinal
9mm
Tap.
handgun.
We need 11mm. It's like Spinal Tap.
It goes
the knobs goes to because it goes to 11.
my primary arm scopes go to 11.
And you know, it is confusing for a novice getting into guns. They don't understand that there's a 45 long Colt, there's a 45 automatic Colt pistol, there's a 45 Glock automatic pistol, there's a 45 Schofield, I think there is. I mean, there's so many different. And then there's the Wildcat cartridges for that too, or that you can shoot 38 special in a 357 revolver, but not the other way around, or just there's so many things that, because it's very confusing because it's not standardized like the metric system. How many different 9mm cartridges are there? What, it's like 5 or 6.
Italian.
So we got the 9mm Largo. We get the 9mm Kurtz.
Technically, a
9x18.
A 380 is a 9x17. Technically,
Correct.
And it will shoot at a 9mm. It will shoot at a 9mm barrel, but it may not operate your slide all the way.
and actually, it's not the same bullet. I mean,
right.
The 380 is a smaller bullet. The diameter, and for a novice, it's totally confusing. Or like a 44 Magnum is really 429, 430 diameter. You know, that sort of thing. I mean, it's just, or a 303 British is 311 diameter. You know, it's really confusing.
Wasn't the 357 a 9mm bullet, or just a smidge?
A 355 or 356 diameter will be a 9x19 Luger, and then a 357 is 357 Magnum or 38 Special. So Ruger's got a 357 revolver that you can put a different cylinder in and shoot 9mm in it.
That's right.
I think isn't it their single 7 conversion or something?
Something I couldn't tell you honestly, but I have seen it. I just don't know the name of the model.
Because you could run a 355, 356 diameter bullet down a barrel designed for a 357 bullet. You just would need a different cylinder set up there.
Yep.
But that would be very confusing to somebody who's going, I just want a gun to protect myself.
Well, gun owners come in all shapes and flavors, and not everybody is.
I don't think you should have to be a gun expert to be a prepper, but I do think that if you really want to take prepping seriously, you should have a variety of types of guns. You don't need to have 50 guns, but like Never Enough Ammo did a video years ago about 5 guns that you should have, and he started off with a handgun, a shotgun, a semi-automatic rifle, a bolt gun, and then a 22 rimfire rifle. And that's a pretty good variety of types of rifles. And I think if you had at least one of each type that you might use or need, and then be intimate with those particular ones, right?
I just think it's important that you know what gun you have. I mean, especially if you want to join a prepper group, if you don't know what kind of gun you have, don't expect, and somebody asks you and you don't know, don't expect them to let you join their prepping group. I mean, it's okay if you say I don't own a gun. I'd rather have somebody who said I don't own a gun. I like knives, or I like swords, or I just don't own a gun. But I'm a prepper. That's okay. I mean, hey, maybe you're an herbologist, or you're some other thing that you're an expert on, or you're a medical guy. I mean, but if you do own a gun, you ought to know exactly what you have. That's all.
You turned down a guy who was open to guns in Hawaii.
What's that? I can't hear you. All I hear is somebody's making a lot of noise.
You turned down a guy who was open to guns in Hawaii. Is that what you're saying?
I turned down somebody who didn't know what the name of his own gun was, or what the caliber was, or anything about the kind of gun he had. And it wasn't just that. His whole family. Basically, he was a prepper, but his whole family was against it. And he said, I asked him, well, what's going to happen if the shit hits the fan? He says, well, all my aunties and uncles and basically about 15 or 20 people are going to show up at my house wanting help. It's like, and you want to show up at my house with this family, and I'm supposed to help all like 20 to 30 people in your family that aren't into prepping. It's like, and you don't know what gun, the name of it. It's like, sorry, man.
Hey, Uncle HVS got the hookup.
Talking pigeon don't help.
Get Auntie over here.
No, Uncle HVS ain't going to be able to help anybody out that can't help themselves. I mean, if you're going to be in a prepper group, it has to be a bunch of self-sufficient people that are of the same mindset. I mean, if you can't barely take care of yourself, and you have like 30 people in your family that also can't take care of themselves, I mean, don't expect to join a prepper group. It's like you'll just be dead weight. I mean, really. But like I told him, Hawaii Volcano Squad is not a paramilitary organization anyway. And I mean, I don't mind making friends, but I mean, as far as in preparations.
But if it was, wouldn't it be cool?
No, it wouldn't. I don't want to run a paramilitary organization.
Show me the way. Do you know the way?
Yeah, just go up on the jungle, go up onto the volcano, set up a camp in the jungle, and I'll see you up there.
You can't.
Hey, if you ever do have a paramilitary group, maybe set it up like Arnold in Predator.
Well, I'd be happy if I could find somebody with if you have a minigun, you can join my.
And it's got to be named Painless.
Oh, Painless.
Payback time.
I don't know if you've ever talked about this, but watching people handle guns in TV shows. I don't watch a lot of TV shows, but I've been binge watching Z Nation.
Okay, but what about Death Wish with Charles Bronson when he does that grip like this, where he supports his shooting hand like on his wrist?
It's a grip almost like he's pointing his finger at somebody.
You guys hate
a gun in his hand.
I've never ever shot like that. I mean, What do you think about that, Griff?
I don't know, but
Well, I think
it's
that's
so
what it
funny.
was part of the time, you know, that when they did that, they found dances different over the times, like the Weaver stance versus the isosceles stance,
Yeah,
and
the
the way
isosceles
hand
triangle.
over hand, you know, thumbs pointing down, thumb uh, teacupping versus all that stuff.
Yeah, that film was from the early '70s, I believe. So I think the whole concept of how to shoot a handgun has changed over time, evolved. Um, but I had never actually seen that grip before. So because when the movie came out, I got the original DVD from I was cruising through Walmart and they released the old original Death Wish DVD, and I wanted to see the old one before I saw the original, before I saw the new movie. And I noticed that grip, and it's like I never even seen anybody shoot like that grip. And I've watched a million gun videos on YouTube. So
Hey, but if Charlie Bronson could shoot like that and shoot accurately and control it, hey, that works for him. That's how he wants to do it.
well, obviously, movie stuff doesn't always work. So just thought I was wondering if anybody actually tried shooting that way.
Wasn't he a veteran?
Well, in the film, he said he was the CEO of a medical unit.
No, but I mean in real life.
And well, the joke was, so the guy in Arizona said, "Oh, you were a commanding officer?" Said, "No, I was a conscientious objector."
No, but I thought he was. I thought he was in the military in real life.
I don't know. I don't know if he was. I know he was in a ton of movies and television series. I think the best Charles Bronson line that I liked that he ever had was I forget the name of the Western, but when somebody sends like 4 guys to meet him at the train station and shoot him dead, and they basically, because he's like a gunfighter and I guess they don't want him in town or something. Somebody doesn't want him in town, so they tell him, says, "Hey, we're supposed to meet you at the train station. We only got 4 horses. I guess we didn't bring it. We should have brought one more horse. We didn't bring enough horses." And Charles Bronson says, "No, you brought 3 horses too many." And then the gunfight happens after that. And so he gets on 1 horse and lets the other 3 horses go.
Yeah, but I mean, what I was more or less focusing in on is when you see a lot of like TV shows, people are like super tactical, and it's real funny to see the actors trying to pretend like they're really doing gun stuff. And you wonder, they do so much stuff in so many different scenes. And it's like none of these people ever come to a conclusion the way they're handling these guns. You know, I realize they're probably blank firing, but it's dangerous. And I love when they're like in like close quarters and they're looking down the sights. He's looking through like a 3x9 scope, clearing a house. What the fuck is he looking through the scope for? He ain't gonna be looking through that.
Well, he's looking through the scope right into the camera is what he's doing.
Yeah, and of course what they do is they're always flagging everybody. Like every second, people is flagging everybody, and it's just like, I don't know, like.
Well, if you're in the middle of a gunfight in a house, you aren't going to be worrying about accidentally flagging people.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of situations where they just flag people straight up all day long. And it's like, I mean, even though that's a blank firing rifle, don't they usually use like muzzle chokes to make it so the weapon cycle? So doesn't that seem not safe to still point a blank gun at somebody? I'm pretty sure
blanks will kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even though they don't protect, blanks kill you.
Yeah, well, as far as film armorers, I know in California, being a film armorer and having a prop license to do that, that's the only way you can have all kinds of weapons that you otherwise could not have in California if you're an actual prop company. You can actually have like a full auto and everything like that if you have a license as a prop company.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's funny when you see it, especially in like a zombie television show where guns are like a very important thing.
I do not watch The Walking Dead. I have not watched The Walking Dead. I think I saw like
Z Nation.
one. I haven't.
I can't
just haven't.
stand The Walking Dead.
I heard that there's going to be actually a Walking Dead movie, and I was like, oh my god, I don't want to see that. And
what Z Nation is it's the sci-fi version of The Walking Dead. So that means it's crappy, and it knows it's crappy, so it makes fun of the fact that it's crappy, and it really is enjoy. If you ever watched like sci-fi stuff, or if you ever into the earlier seasons of Sliders, it's kind of like that. It's good. It's fun. I mean, it's as the seasons go on, it gets even better. But still, the gunplay is just always shit. And people always like it's these zombie apocalypse, and everybody's got a full auto, and everybody is just firing ammo everywhere.
Well, I remember when I saw
Dead Off. I turned to Rick Grimes or whatever, got the big cold python. He shot the neighbor's tank, and his head didn't explode, from the, fire, killed him. And then he did want to drive off. Like, Jesus, dude, come on. Thousands of zombies, and you're.
Yeah, I kind of went out, and after I've only watched one episode of The Walking Dead, and there's like a bunch of zombies coming down the street, and so then after that episode, I went out and bought like a ton of shotgun ammo, and then just so I'd be prepared, because I saw like 100 zombies walking down the street, and it's like, man, I do not have enough shotgun ammo, and so I bought like 20 boxes of shotgun ammo or something ridiculous.
Well, one thing I thought I'd point out, is it might not just be the people on the scene who are renting the prop guns, or maybe even like a military advisor. I mean, the gun sounds and a lot of the gun play is going to ultimately come down to the editor, right? Whoever's editing the piece.
Well, it'll be the editor, and it'll come down to the mixer on what sounds he wants to use. I mean, basically, yeah, they always want ammo falling to the ground, the brass casings, but they always put that in there, and then it's up to the mixer, who doesn't really know anything about guns. He's supposed to be an audio guy, and so, but he just uses whatever is there because people are used to hearing that. I mean, they could hear brass falling on cement, even if they're shooting shotgun with plastic casings, because it's just that's how they edit the stuff. They just put all the sounds on there that they might need, and then they mix it together, and hopefully it works.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, in one scene, they keep doing this in the show, and it drives me nuts. Like, something bad happens, and like the main character will pull out a .45 and cock it, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're walking around in the zombie apocalypse, and you're not carrying with one in the chamber? Like, are you insane? Like, what are you, stupid?
Hey, it isn't just that, Jared. Hey, do you remember when we were doing live fire exercises and all the brass fell all in the same spot, didn't it? It all fell in a nice pile, all in the same spot, didn't it? Every single time.
Yeah.
Have you noticed they do that in the TV shows and the movies? You always see the brass.
They didn't.
Well, they just point the camera at the cement, the ground, and then they drop the brass on the ground. I mean,
and they shoot it with high-speed film so that they can slow it down and it looks dramatic. But I don't ever remember any of that. I don't ever remember.
Well,
hey, look!
Well, you're going to have to get a firearms-oriented director to have an actual handy cam that they move around because the brass falls all over the place, and just have somebody just throw brass at different areas and have the camera guy like running all over to follow where the brass falls. It just, You
mean the brass doesn't pile up around your body?
Well, I think the directors won't give a shit. Look, I think the director of photography won't give a shit because a film is not supposed to be about that. A film is supposed to be about an interaction between the characters, not about how the brass hits the ground. Okay, so basically, what I'm telling you is that nobody gives a shit except like gun geeks on the internet. And so this isn't Matt's chat. So
I was just making fun of that scene with Charlie Sheen in Hot Shots where he's shooting the M60 and he's got like a 4-foot pile of brass around his body and he can't move. It's engulfed him because he shot so much. It was just funny.
Well, yeah, Hot Shots Part 2. I mean, there's a lot of funny stuff in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I was just binge watching that Z Nation show, the third and the fourth season.
Why would you
So
want
it's
to binge watch? I couldn't binge watch a zombie show. I'm sorry. Vampires maybe, zombies no.
I mean, it was just watching them
Oh,
fool
so you're a
around
True
with
Blood guy,
guns.
huh?
No, I like Bela Lugosi. I mean, I just like Nosferatu. I mean, I like the old ones. I like the classics. I mean, you know my
I
shelf
know,
history.
I just had to say it.
Oh, I was thinking Buffy.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah.
Was that Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yeah, back when she was young.
All right. So, is there any other gun stuff we need to cover tonight? Or prepping stuff, or because we covered a lot of ground on this one because it was a real long show. I think we're gonna just go to the after chat. If Bat Jack is out there, I hope I can see you in Arizona, but I'm probably only going to be in Prescott. And Skywarp, I will look at your last night video. I've been so busy doing other stuff. But I like your knife videos. It's just my sub feed is just like this monster proportion. I get so many videos in my sub feed. It's just crazy. But I definitely want to see that one.
Yeah, my kids use my sub feed too.
Who's in your sub feed?
My kids do the kid videos, so I can barely even understand anything. I'm subbed to so many kids channels. I like Dennis.
Yeah, Skywarp does a lot of knife reviews that are interesting.
That's cool.
So I want to catch up with that. But hey, everybody, thanks for listening and giving us a thumbs up. We'll hopefully see you next week for another Lock and Load show. And hopefully they'll get Gun Channel's text rooms back up. I don't know. It's beyond my control. We're just the peons that run the small shows around here. We're not in charge of anything. We're like loose cannons. See y'all next week. If I can find the termination button.
Bye-bye.